Hello, I'm Phil Martelli Jr. I'm the head coach of the VCU men's basketball team, and I am coached to win.
Go get me some knowledge.
What's your pitch? Serious question. What is your pitch? If I take out the money, the NIL, which is just part of it now, if every team had to take out the aspect of money, right? You can't rely on that. What is your sales pitch to recruits?
So the obviously very transactional world that we're in right now,
Yeah.
but I still believe in the relationships and the transformational piece of it. So it's that. It's like, hey, every coach is going to care about number 22 if number 22 gets 15 points and 10 rebounds.
Yeah.
Or do they care about Christian? Do they really care about you as a person and be like, all right, yeah, they have my best interest at heart? And not just, hey, you got 15 points, let me put my arm around you and see how you're doing. So that piece is a big deal to me, making sure that we're doing that. And then just from a basketball perspective, like player development's huge to me. Like it's not up there yet, I'd show it to you, but there's going to be two big words in our practice facility. It's going to say development and competition. And that's what like I say to people all the time, like if you spent a week with us and you left and you went back and somebody said, okay, report back, what are these guys about? Those would be the two things. I'd want you to say they're about player development, they're about competition. And I think if you have those two things, then you can be successful, right? Like you're getting your players better and then you learn how to compete. It's about winning and losing at the end of the day.
Do you believe that a competitive spirit is a skill? Do you think you can teach people to be competitive?
I think you can. Now, it has to be in there somewhere. I don't think they can come in. I don't think it's like blank canvas and you're going to get them to compete. But I think you got to find it's in there. You got to find it, and you got to build them up, knowing if you compete, like you're going to have a chance to win if you compete, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to be like, oh, be competitive. If you know your team's going to go get blown out, like that's not, or you're not going to be able to hang, like it's building that confidence to me of, look, you can go out there, you can go compete, like you can go be good. Like, so I think there's some piece of it that you can build.
When you're out in the recruiting trail and you can't talk to some of these kids, if you just roll into a gym and there's 50 courts, what type of guy stands out to you? Like, how do you know?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of times we already have an idea. I like to look at it this way. Like when I watch guys, you try to get enough different opportunities to see them, just trying to find them like they're ascending. Because I feel like you can watch some guys and you're like, all right, he's the same guy he was last year, which probably tells me he's going to be the same guy a year from now, which means he's not going to be good enough. But that guy that you're like, you know what? Like a year ago, he couldn't do that. A month ago, he couldn't do that. A week ago, he wasn't doing that. Those guys, I think if you watch close enough, you can start to figure out, okay, there's something there, right? He's adding to his game. He's working on his game. And I just look for like guys that play the right way. Because in basketball, it's easy. Like I would imagine in football, it's hard to not play the right way. Maybe it's not, but like it's hard.
Well, it depends. Yeah. Yes and no, right?
Yeah. So like in basketball, like that stands out. Like to me, like I see guys, I'm like, man, that he is not going to be successful. Yeah, he's getting 20 a game right now in this high school team or AAU team, but no one's going to let you play that way. Like you're not going to be able to play that way. So for me, like efficiency is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like some people look at points per game and all that. I'm looking at efficiency. Is this a guy does he make the shots he takes? Whether he's taking 8 of them or 20 of them, is he efficient? Is he efficient with the ball? Is he assist to turnover ratio? Is he strong? Because it's, oh yeah, he got 5 assists. Yeah, he also had 6 turnovers. At the end of the day, you're not winning with those guys.
Yeah.
You're just not. And especially in the transfer market, like when I look at numbers and look at some of the analytics and then look at the film, it's like I look at guys and be like, man, someone's going to take that guy and they're going to instantly regret it. I mean, we did it this year. We traded Daniel Rivera, who was 14-8 for us, for Barry Evans, who was 14 and something for us. And it was the difference because Barry was an efficient player and Daniel was not, and Daniel just wanted to do his own thing and Barry just was a team player. Like that little bit right there made us went from a good team to a great team.
Yeah, you just said something. You said the transfer market. It feels like we're talking about stocks and bonds and trading on the New York Stock Exchange, and this guy's efficient. Okay, it is nuts the way that I was just at a basketball tournament at the Mohegan Sun. I was literally just watching the court like a coach, and I was like actually critiquing people based on who I think I would want based on what I see, and through the prism of an AU game, though, which is completely just nuts in my opinion.
It is, yeah.
And I think it's really tough for coaches to, I don't actually, maybe it isn't tough because you probably have seen it. It's probably hard to trick you guys, I would assume.
You would think, but I do think people get tricked. I think people trick themselves, to be honest with you. Because like at some point in time, you just go like, all right, I just want to like that guy, so I'm going to like that guy.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, but why? Because somebody tells you have to? Because his ranking says he's supposed to be pretty good? I don't. So I think people get tricked, but they trick themselves a lot of times. Or they just want to believe it, right? They just want to believe like that they see something that no one else sees. And then at the end of it, you're like, all right, like everyone knew he couldn't shoot when you thought, like he made one shot. And you're like, okay, it was 1 for 11. I do think that happens quite a bit.
It's bananas to me. It's so hard. But I want to talk about you as a coach and you as a player, you as a dad, you as a son. You're really hitting every single box here, Phil. It's pretty amazing. When you were coming up, when you were younger, obviously your dad, legendary coach. And what did you pay attention to him while he was coaching? As you're sitting on the bench as a kid, what kind of stood out to you that your dad was doing that you wanted to emulate?
What's always stood out with him is, for him, it's always been about people. Like the X's and O's is what it is. Like I think for any of us that have played or coached, like you have a good idea of the X's and O's. Some are better than the others, but for him, it was always the way he managed people and treated people. And I think that was always his secret sauce. It was like he got to people, he understood people, he knew when to push, he knew when to pull back, he knew when to give a hug, he knew when to give a pat on the back, he knew when to give a kick in the butt. Like he just had that instinct. And again, that's something for me, like it still boils down to that. It still boils down to people. Like, how are you treating people? Like we all want, as coaches, we all want the best from our players, right? But all right, like they want the best from you too. And you got to give them your best. You can't go in there and think, oh, I can just coast my way through this or not be ready for this or not be prepared and think like that they're not going to see that. They're going to see it, right?
Yeah.
They're going to see it the same way we see it when they show up to practice and they don't have it.
Were you always coached by your dad? And if you weren't, did you learn anything from some other coach that you had that wasn't your dad?
Yeah. So in college, he was my coach. The only other time he coached us was he coached my brother's a year younger. He's on my staff. So when we were like 10 and 11, maybe he coached our little league team because we love baseball. He loves baseball. I love baseball.
Yeah.
So he did that once. So that was the only time. And to be like, really, like he wasn't, and it's funny because I'm this way as a dad, like he was not a vocal from the stands. Like even after the game, like he might say 1 or 2 things, but he wasn't like, you got to, and he was never like, the one thing he always did was he always backed the coach. So I remember one time playing the summer league and I was like, these guys don't know what they're doing. Like they're not basketball coaches. And he looked at me, he's like, they're doing a great job. And I was like, and he goes, they're doing a great job. And I was like, all right, I got it. Like that was always.
Why do you think he always backed the coach? Because he was a coach and he knows how hard it is?
Yeah, I think he knew, he understood it. That, okay, if the players aren't going to buy in, then any great coach, it wouldn't matter if the players don't buy in. So I think it was more that you got to buy into what they want you to do and do it to the best of your ability. And I think because he was a coach and understood it. Okay, everyone, everyone's got a better idea. You played in all those stadiums, right? There's 70,000 people that know more than Bill Belichick, right? Like when you go 4th and 1 and it doesn't work, they go, oh, what the hell are you doing? Like Philadelphia last year, obviously being from Philadelphia, like Nick Sirianni, they wanted him fired in October. Now they'll probably build a statue of him. Like it's just,
yeah.
So I think you get that when you're part of that, you understand that, and like this is part of it. And
it's like Doug Peterson wins the Super Bowl there, and a couple years later they run him out. Yeah. They win another one with a totally different coach. No, I totally get it. I do think it's interesting. So you have kids now, and I'm curious, like your dad's approach, and if you've adopted it to not saying anything, like because when I was at this tournament, Phil, it was crazy. I saw so many dads just coaching the hell out of their kids. And I was like, there's so many kids that just want nothing to do with the lessons, like right after a game.
Yeah.
Would the overall advice for parents watching this who are coaching kids, when do you think the right time would be to talk to them about whatever it is that you saw as a dad, as a parent?
Yeah, I think because I am that way. I don't say much. I think you have to limit what you're saying. If you are going to say stuff, you have to limit what you're saying. And I will say this respectfully. I've been in those gyms. I'm around those AU tournaments. There are more people that know less than they realize than know more than they realize, if you catch my drift. There's some of those. I'm sitting there and I'm hearing it and I'm going, like, why? Like, why are you even telling your kid that? Like, it's just baffling, right?
Yeah.
So I think less is definitely more. It's the same in coaching, right? I can't go down there and give my guys 11 things, right? I can give them 2 things. Hey, these are the 2 things today that we really need to focus on. Or here's 2 things we did good. Or I can't go down there and run through 11 things. They're going to shut off. And I think especially with your kids. They get in the car and you want to go, all right, that play in the first quarter when you blah, blah, and then they're gone. They're gone. They've shut it off. Like that's beyond.
Yeah,
If
I've
you know
learned
what you're talking about and you want to give them like, hey, you know what? Like when you drive the ball to your left, like you're getting caught. If you know it, okay, that's fine. But not in you need to, and you need to, it's not going to benefit them.
Yeah, I do think that is, listen, I'm guilty of that sometimes. I have to admit it. It's hard to resist the temptation because you see it from a parent and you're really only watching your own kid and it's so easy to critique them. I've just learned that the best thing for me to do is listen, we're not talking about anything till we get in the car. And then when we get in the car, I still don't want to hear anything unless you want to say something. And then the door's open. I feel like that's my chance. One of the things that
too, like I think asking them a question to get that started, not in just a general like question, like how'd you feel out there? Or whatever, some just general question that will get them kind of start talking, that will lead it more to conversation. If it's just you talking at them, they're after that first sentence, you're done. They're not. But I think that's get them to talk about it, ask them a question about it, like whatever. Then again, I'll do that with the players. Like, all right, tell me what you're seeing out there. I'm feeling like there's not. Then it gets a conversation going rather than just you talking at them and trying to pontificate that, hey, this is what I see and this is what you should be doing.
That's great advice for parents, especially, and actually for coaches who are going to coach their players. Is it crucial not to make it a dictatorship? One, overall, is just your philosophy about the team and individually when you say ask a question, how, what, where, so they don't feel like they're being attacked or they're being dismissed?
Yeah, I don't think it can be a dictatorship. Maybe it works in some places. For me, it doesn't. Like I want their feedback. I tell them all the time, maybe not with every guy, but there's certain guys I'll say to them, bring them in and be like, all right, tell me what I'm screwing up. Right? If we're not as good as we need to be, like what am I screwing up? Because I'm going to sit here and tell you, like, you need to box out. You need to do this. You need to get off the ball. You need to blah, 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 blah. You need to run the floor harder. What am I doing wrong? Because there's something. Like there's something. If we're not performing up to our expectations, there's something that we all can be doing. I do think that. I think having that conversation with them, asking them questions, asking them what they feel or what they see or what they want more of, it gives them ownership. I've always believed if I call you in to work out, that's now my workout. Like you're the player, I'm the coach. I call you and say, come on, we're getting in the gym at 11 a.m. That's my workout. You're walking in the gym in the mindset that this is coach's workout. It needs to be your workout. So if I say to you, like, all right, tell me what you're feeling. What do you need to, you know what, when I'm getting to my left, I'm not, okay, let's work on that. Now it's your workout. Now there's ownership to you of this is what I want to work on. This is what I think I need to work on. This is where I need to get better. There's an ownership. So that window to get better just grows because now your mindset is of that growth mindset rather than, okay, I got to go do this because coach wants me in there at 11.
Yeah. No, that is interesting. I'm curious about your journey, coaches in general. I'm amazed how resilient coaches are based on how tough it is to get to your level. The head coach at VCU. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
What do you tell coaches who are going through the tough times, the no recognition, traveling all over the place? What would be your advice to a coach who was maybe in the position that you were in back when you were the coach at Central Connecticut, or Wait, were you the GM or the assistant coach of the 87ers or
Coach,
whatever
yeah,
that team
assistant
was?
coach, yeah.
Who was that? A
Assistant
D
coach,
League,
yeah.
G League team?
It
How
was
do
the
you
D
even
League.
say that? The 87ers? That was the name of the
87ers.
team?
That was the
Oh,
team.
87ers. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. What advice would you give?
I hate saying it this way, but I think it's true. Like, longevity in coaching is how much crap can you put up with, right? Everyone gets to a point, I think, of, all right, can I keep dealing with this or not? There's guys that get to a point of, you know what, the long hours, I can't do it anymore. I can't. Or the minimal pay. You know what? I can't do it. I can go work in marketing and make six figures tomorrow when I'm making $30,000 as an assistant coach somewhere. It's just that. And this is not a linear profession, right? Like, I felt like I did a good job at all the places I was. We won. It didn't lead to any crazy opportunities. I was a 20-year assistant at Central Connecticut, Manhattan, Niagara, Delaware, Bryant. It wasn't like, oh, okay, you're an assistant at Duke. You did a good job at Central Connecticut. You didn't do a good job. Then you go do a good job at Niagara. Then you go to Delaware, and then you go to Penn State, and then you go to Duke. That didn't happen. And it doesn't happen a lot of times. I do think that. I often think back on there's the picture that goes around on the internet, and it's like the top one is the guy like chopping away, and there's diamonds on the other side, right? And he's like this close, and he's walking away. And the other guy is got this ferocious look, and he's just chopping away, and he's got a little ways to go, but he's just going to keep going. Eventually he's going to break through. And that's what this is. It's just like you just are. I worked with a guy with the 87ers who said to me one time, and it was so true, we're in the lottery business, right? Like this world, we're in the lottery business. We're just trying to hit that one. And watch, as somebody that sat there for a long time thinking like my number was never going to get called, and then it did, like I was fortunate. I was ready to go when it was called, and I kept going, right? Like I often say the best guys that I've worked with are guys that got out. And I feel like I owe it to them to keep going and keep working because they got out for one reason or another. One guy was family reasons. One guy was financial. One guy was health. Those guys were really good. Could easily be the head coach of VCU and be wildly successful. Those guys didn't get that opportunity for one reason or another. I'm fortunate that I've gotten that opportunity. So I think about those guys and I think about owing it to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To like not half-ass it, to not mail it in and just be like, all right, I got to keep going. But my advice would be like for guys, like you just got to keep going. If you really love it and you're really about the right things, like you just keep going. And yeah, there's a chance you might not. I thought more, obviously I dreamed about being a Division I head coach and wanted that badly. But I often thought, man, I might be one of those guys that could be like the 60-year-old assistant at whatever low-level school and just didn't get the opportunity. And yeah, it's a risk, but it's something if you're willing to do it and willing to put it out there, it could pay off too.
What is the biggest difference between like Bryant's program and VCU? Is it just stadium size and NIL money? What's the biggest difference between those two?
I'd say it's overall resources. Bryant, you're taking a 7-hour bus ride to go to Binghamton for a game. At VCU, you're chartering a 100-seat flight to go to Davidson, which is a 4-hour bus ride. Like that's just those types of resources. I'm sitting in our practice facility that is just ours. We're not sharing it. There's no at Bryant. 2 days before our championship game this year, we're hosting the championship on Saturday. Like we couldn't use the gym because there was an event in the gym. Like we're not dealing with that here. Like we had to go practice elsewhere. At VCU, like we have our practice facility. It is ours. The women have the same thing on the other side. So we're not sharing with them. We're not sharing with volleyball. We're not sharing with any outside group. The only people that come in this are current guys, former players, and then somebody that's my kids or one of the assistant coaches' kids or whatever can come in and use it. But that's what it is. And then the other thing that is very apparent being here is just the eyeballs that are on you. Like the
And you.
Yeah, for sure that you feel that. We go to dinner with a recruit and it's like people coming up to the table, taking pictures, no matter where you are in the city, right? Inside the city, just outside the city, like everywhere you go, it's just like you're walking down the street and somebody's driving, they pull their car over, hop out to say hello. You're getting on a plane and wherever and somebody comes over. But just that, it's that level of support and eyeballs. Like there's no pro sport here. There's no pro sport. VCU basketball is the pro sport in Richmond, and Richmond's a pretty large city.
Yeah, it is. Has it hit you yet as far as where you're at? And we touched on the expectations and the eyeballs. Has it hit you yet what the challenge is now being the head coach of VCU?
Yeah, it does recognize that more in an appreciation way, to be honest with you. Like the walking into this facility, our practice facility, again, I've been to a number of NBA practice facilities. You wouldn't know the difference, right? It's not, oh, the Celtics facility has this and this, and we don't have it. Like we have it all. So when I walk in here, recognize it. When I'm out in the community or on the road or whatever, and people stop and recognize or they turn and look when they see VCU, you recognize that. And we've met as a staff a couple times to talk about that. There's an expectation now, right? You can't be like, you walk into Wawa and you're sloppy walking into Wawa. People are like, oh man, I saw that guy from VCU. It looked like no, you have to be like, you got to be aware of it, right? You have to be aware of it. It's something we'll talk to the players about. You got to handle yourself a certain way. It's not just, oh, I can just blend in. And I'm more of a blend in with the crowd kind of guy. I'm good, like just being off in the shadows and no one knows who I am and all that. But it became apparent quick here. That's not this place.
Yeah.
And again, I grew up with that with my dad. So I know what that looks like to an extent. But even there in Philadelphia, yeah, huge city, but it's the Eagles, and then it's the Eagles, and then it's the Eagles, and then it's the Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, some combo there, and then it's all the other Division I schools. You're splitting all of that. We're here.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, VCU's everywhere. Like you walk down the street and you see it everywhere.
I know you guys. As we're recording this, it's basically the middle of June, and so the summer sessions are just on their way. I don't know what your team looks like at this point in time, how many guys you have on it, but have you had a chance to address the team yet? And if so, what was the first thing you said to them?
Yeah, we have everybody here right now. We have 14 guys. This is the second week of our 8 weeks of summer workouts. When I addressed them 2 weeks ago when they got here, my big thing was like, we have enough talent to win. We have enough of all that to do what it is that we want to do. But it's about the connection of the group, how quickly we connect, how deeply we connect. And that's going to be the ultimate, the deciding factor on how far we can get and what we can do with this group. Again, like you got to have talent. Have enough talent. I think we have the right character. We spend a lot of time with that. Like we don't want to sacrifice talent for character. We don't want to sacrifice character for talent. And at VCU, you can have both of those things. But some other places, you might have to sacrifice one or the other to be like, you know what? He's a really good kid. He's a really good program guy. Yeah, he might not be quite good enough. We'll take him and develop him. The same the other way. Man, he's super talented. We couldn't get him any other way, but he's got some baggage. We don't have to deal with that here, I don't think. So those things match up. It's just, can the group connect? And it's not, we have 9 new guys. So is it, these are the returning guys and these are the new guys, or these are the transfers and these are the freshmen, and they all kind of splinter, or are they connected? And so far, what I've seen of them seem pretty connected. Yeah. But it's like, we're going to have to go through some tough things. And I don't believe, I guess there's some benefit to it, but I'm not like the manufactured team bonding stuff I don't really get down with that.
You don't have a team trip where you guys all build a sandcastle and then talk about your feelings about the sandcastle.
Yeah. Like I don't believe, I think it has to be organic stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Like it has to be organic moments, organic things, and good and bad, right? There's got to be times where guys can laugh together. There's got to be times like we play one-on-one every day at the end of practice. And last week, like 2 guys that I think will be really good for us. They were at the same basket, and one guy won and one guy lost, and they're talking a little smack to each other, and they're arguing with each other. You know? But then the next day, they're the 2 guys in the gym together, laughing, joking, shooting together. I'm like, okay, they developed a bond, right? They're both competitors. Like they both saw that and recognized that, and now that's something like that brought them together. Like you have to go through those things together. Like you have to have all these guys, especially now with the transfer stuff, like they come in with their own individual experiences, but you got to develop that collective experience, right? Again, like when you went to a new team or a new guy came in, like they had to get to know that, right? Like they brought their own experience. Okay, you're coming from the Bears and you have your own experience, but you got to have experience with us, with the Patriots, right? To really be in there and be part of that.
Explain to me why you do the one-on-one at the end of practice. What are you looking for with the one-on-one?
So it's just a way to compete. And really one-on-one is one of the best. Again, this goes back to my dad. Like one of the best skill development things you can do is play one-on-one.
Really?
Defensively. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's just you, right? Like it's just you and you're just you got to go make a play. And I do it really. I just said this to somebody today. Like, what I love about it is one guy lost it. We had 3 different baskets going. So the one guy that lost it, one of his baskets was up and was running away with it. And then they came back. Somebody came back and beat him at the basket. And he walks out of the gym pissed off. And I'm like, good. He should, right? That should eat at him. Like, he should be mad that he lost. And again, it goes back to your question about developing a competitive spirit. Like, he should be mad. And you know what? The guy that won should be able to talk a little bit, right? Like, he should be able to talk a little bit for a day, and then we'll play again tomorrow. And then what happens? I do think that. I think having that competitive spirit, having guys, again, we do our player development. Like right now, we're doing about an hour each day. We do our player development stuff, skill stuff. And then the last 8 to 10, sometimes 12 minutes, we're playing one-on-one and getting them competing.
Yeah, no, I'm going to steal that. I like that. I thought one-on-ones were just dead and gone. I didn't think any teams actually did them.
Yeah,
it's better than a tug of war.
Yes. Yep. No, it is that.
Yeah.
It is that. It's probably like you guys used to do. Was that Oklahoma drill? When
Oh yeah, I used to love that.
Like you probably did a million of them.
Yeah, they don't let you do it anymore though.
Sure.
The worst thing, you know what the worst thing was? The one thing I'm glad they got rid of, not the Oklahoma drill. It's actually bull in the ring, where the entire team would get in a circle. And you'd have to just keep, if you're in the circle, you'd have to keep turning around, circling and circling. And the coach would walk around like it was like he was playing duck goose. And he'd pat somebody on the head and he'd freaking run at you, bam. And then he'd tap another guy in his head and you, bam. You never knew when it was going to stop. That one was like, I hated that one. Last question before I let you go, because I ask this at the end of every interview. And this has been great, by the way, Coach. And you may have already said it in our discussion, but I'm going to ask it anyways. If you could gift one trait, one characteristic to young athletes, girls or boys, something that would help them succeed not only in life as the game that they're playing, what one trait would you give them?
You brought the word up earlier, and it's one of my favorite words, is resilience. Like, you're going to face failure. I keep in my phone, I have all these different things. Like, at one point in time, there was like a series of them. It was like, hey, the guy that started Starbucks had 44 businesses fail before he found Starbucks. Abraham Lincoln's a good one. Like, people think, all right, Abraham Lincoln was the president. Yeah. You know how many losses he had before he got that, like before he did that? So resilience is a big one. There's 4 words that'll be in our locker room. And that's one of the 4 words, along with consistency, observance, resilience, and efficiency. Those 4 words, like every day for all of us, are important. But resilience has always been like a huge one to me, right? Because we all face it. Like, I often think of those, you hear those graduation speeches, and a lot of times it talks about success. And every once in a while you hear somebody talk about failure. It's like, yes, that's what people need to hear.
Yeah.
Because you fail so much, but it's okay. Like, it's okay to fail. Like, you just have to, again, we talked about it earlier, you have to keep going. I think that's a big deal. And I think it's hard as parents. Like, we get in the way of that, right? We want to protect our kids, and I get it. I do it too. But it's okay. It's okay for them to not make the team, right? It's okay for them to whatever it is, hit a little something and have to fight through it.
Yeah.
It's not going to all be smooth. I mean, you've had a great life. You got 2 cool trophies behind you there that you've been a part of some really cool stuff. But
yeah,
I'm sure you've played as many of those you've had a lot of failures too. To say, like, man, I got to get through this and do this. And then the more you go through it, you realize, like, it's okay. And again, not that you're trying to fail or you want to fail, but you're like, it's why, to be honest with you, like some of the transfers we've had, I look at that. All right, are they resilient enough to get through this, or have they packed it in?
Yeah.
And we'll be looking at that as we go through the recruiting process. Like, some guys, you're like, he's packed it in, he's done. And then other guys, you can see like that hunger to them. This didn't work, but I'm going to prove that it's going to work. And it ends up being, those guys usually end up doing pretty well. But there are guys that like, oh, I can't do it, and I'm just done. Nah, you're done if you say you're done. But if you believe you're not done, then you can still make something of it. And yeah, so resilience is it for me.
Go get me some knowledge.